Hi everyone, welcome back to Photomode Unplugged, the podcast about photo modes. I'm your host, Fun. This is me. It's
That might be
definitely
the
worse.
worst one. So
Yeah, it's the worst one so far.
it's like you forgot what we were on about. And went, oh,
It's
what's the
it's been only 1 week, but it seems like forever. Too much things happened this
Obviously,
week.
a lot has happened in a week. Yeah.
Yeah. So, what happened on your side?
Well, I can wind you up again by telling you that I've been preparing for the trip to New York.
When are you flying?
End of the week. So it's
Ooh.
Thursday until Sunday. Well, I'll get
really
back
close.
like crazy early Monday morning. I actually, you know what? I was trying to book an airport transfer, and for the trip back, I thought, right, my flight leaves on the 11th, so I was requesting, airport taxis, giving them the 11th, forgetting that it goes over midnight and I land early in the morning, so it should be the 12th. So,
Ooh.
yeah.
Glad you actually remember that instead of like arriving and
Partly
having
good
nothing.
that I remembered, but also now none of them can do it. So I don't have I'm
yeah.
going to probably have to get the train back on the early morning, which, if you know anything about the UK trains, is not good.
After a long flight that seems.
Yeah, I've had that before. Traveled all around the world, like Japan, where everything is to the second, on time, perfection. Flight, all 18-hour flight, got back early, got here, Manchester train station, airport train station, train's cancelled. You're like, yay, I'll just stand here for a while.
Yeah, Portuguese train is very much the same.
It can't be as bad.
You can trust schedules.
Yeah, it's bad. You?
Other than that,
Other than that, I don't know. I've just been building the website for the awards, really. I nearly bought Sable the other day, and I forgot I missed it because that's launched on the PS5. I was going to buy that. But yeah, I've been playing a bit of Ragnarok, only a little bit.
which
is
to
the
talk
topic
about
for
it.
for today's episode.
Let's control ourselves. I was going to ask if Kojima accepted the invitation.
I don't know. I can't get through to Kojima Productions. No. I've had enough trouble getting the other ones on board. Still waiting on some.
Well, on my side, I went to Amsterdam. I got to meet.
Of course, I actually forgot about that. Yeah.
I got to meet the community managers of Gorilla, Chante and Ann, which was super nice. The freaking stalker in the entrance it's so much bigger in real life than
isn't it? It's
what
massive.
it is. Yeah. It's. Did you get to see the metal flower?
So I saw the metal flowers at the launch party.
The launch party, yeah.
And they're also massive.
Yeah, it's like Jesus.
Where is it now?
It's like, so you go up the elevator and it's to your right. Yeah, to your right. So it's like, it's just decoration at this point, which is like, I didn't get to see the statue of Aloy because she's on tour around the Netherlands, but we had a conversation about it, and it seems like real lifelike and spooky at sometimes, and I would love to have the experience to like see it and be freaked out by how
walking
realistic
it makes you jump.
Yeah, they actually made exactly that movement. You are like walking around the studio and suddenly
The one thing I do want to see is the
Deacon one.
No, the Raptor.
Did
you not
they
seen those?
print over?
I don't know if there's ever been one at the studio, but they installed them. There was one in Sydney. I know that much because it was in front of the Opera House. But they're also massive. I don't know where they've all gone because there was quite a few of them.
We got to talk about all the statues,
Yeah.
and I would love to see the Deacon statue at Band Studios.
Uh,
If Colin is watching this, he can arrange for me to visit, and he can arrange for me to visit, I would love to like see that Dickens statue, because from all the pictures from all the studios, it's the one that looks more like realistic.
It's really detailed, isn't it?
Yeah. And I would love to see that one.
It's kind of like the full scale, you know, of all the collectibles that people get in. It's like, yeah, you collect those, we'll have the. Do you?
I would love to see that, and if I ever go to Seattle, see the one from Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah.
Or
the desktop one for that is pretty incredible.
There's
like a little desktop size one that's got movable parts and everything.
But they are really expensive.
Extremely expensive, yes.
I was thinking about getting one from the advanced suit of Spider-Man, and it's crazy expensive. It's never going to happen at this point.
Too much. My other question about the trip to Gorilla is, did you get stuck in the revolving door?
I didn't get stuck in the revolving door, but I actually told them the story of you getting stuck in the revolving door.
So, anyone not aware, I don't think I've said it on here before, but on my visit to Amsterdam, and I was leaving Gorilla Studios, and I went through into the revolving door is massive, right? It's pretty big.
Yeah,
it also
and it only
locks.
Opens.
It does like 1/4 turn, yeah. And it started its turn, and I like jokingly waved to the security camera, then stepped in it, and then it stopped. And I was in the quadrant that was in the sealed bit. Couldn't get out.
I actually didn't find, like, I was going through the Google Maps and trying to find the building.
Yeah.
And I didn't see anything saying Gorilla. It's only visible from up. Yeah. And I look at my left side and see a massive stalker inside the building, and I'm like, I'm at the right place. I got this shirt from them.
Nice.
Yeah, 2 Tremor tusks. I got a 3D puzzle from a Tremor tusk, and a poster book and a T-shirt. So yeah, it was really cool to visit Gorilla and get the gift package.
I didn't get the gifts.
You got to go to the launch party.
That was unique, and that was pretty once in a lifetime type stuff. Yeah.
I actually also got a follow from them.
Yeah, well. Yeah, it's overrated. It's overrated. Oh, you wouldn't have to ask for it. I asked for it, but in the tweet, did you see the sticker book thing that I made? And they never responded to that. I did the got need sticker book.
Yeah. We were joking that I was collecting we made this joke between ourselves before, that I was collecting the Infinity Stones about something else.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm actually collecting the Infinity Stones of PlayStation Studios, following me on Twitter. I'm missing Gorilla. And they said, are we? And they immediately start following me at that second. Yeah. So yeah, it was pretty cool.
I'll get it eventually. I can't really complain a minute because
by Gorilla?
No, despite having done the contests with them.
You should have asked at
the community managers do, but not the main account. But
they explained that to me, that they mostly scroll on their personal accounts. Okay. So they see content from virtual photographers, and they think we are already following them on the... We got to speak a lot about community management, because it's something that I want to do it someday, maybe. So yeah, I got a lot of the questions for them, and how they run the contest, how they choose to follow, things like that. And it was really informative about, like, we have no idea how big things are on their side. Like, they get thousands of notifications by the hour. So it's pretty crazy to give attention to everyone.
Exactly, and that's why I always find it a bit peculiar when some people will say, "Oh, why did you ignore this post I made?" It's like the chances that they even saw it is slim, you know.
Like
There's
even
so much.
we talked before about like knowing when they go on Twitter and trying to post at that same time. Imagine Insomniac. They have over 1 million
Or Naughty Dog.
Or Naughty Dog. Like it's impossible for them to see everything. You're better with like tagging devs and hoping they don't block you for spamming their accounts.
Well, I think you definitely get that before me.
Oh yeah. So the topic of the week.
Topic of the week is the now. Is it infamous?
Infamous.
The now
infamous,
slightly less popular than it should have been. God of War Ragnarok photo mode.
Yeah. Let's have a minute of silence for what could have been. I can't say that I am 100% disappointed. I can't say that. I cannot, because we were half expecting. We talked about it. We were kind of like expecting something like this. That something like this could happen, especially after that leaked photo mode. We were Fun fact: the Mimir face expression is on the leaked photo mode, and it's not present on the release photo mode.
Not at all.
Yeah, not at all.
Because I actually haven't tried it with Mimir yet, because each save I've been to have not had him.
No, I started the game again, and it's not there.
Ah, interesting. That's weird, actually.
I don't know. Do you have any theories about why they delayed if the photo mode is basically the same?
I don't. That's the puzzle, essentially, because I know you're saying you kind of half expected this. It's essentially the same photo mode from 2018. Now,
a bit worse.
It is a little bit worse, actually. Yeah, we'll cover why it's worse. But the theory I always had was that if it was going to be the same, it could have been there at launch, because the game engine is essentially
basically
the same. That old photo mode would still be therefore functional, and all of the basic features that we now see are the same ones. Surely they would have already worked. The content changes, but the photo mode as it was, I would have assumed, unless I'm being particularly naive, would have worked almost straight away. So I thought the only real reason to delay it is for some significant changes. Now, what changes have we seen is more people get facial expressions, which is kind of just by virtue of the fact that you got more companion combinations now.
Even Kratos has more.
Yeah, so I think it was
18, and now you have like 25.
It's 28
like
and 28 on Kratos, 26 on Atreus, and the others seem to have about 10. But I mean, even then, if you go through the actual faces, a lot of them are kind of the same for even different characters.
But applied to different characters.
Exactly.
That's why one of the companions I don't know if we want to say like names, because can be considered a spoiler, but it was in the announcement. But some of the companions, one of them, I actually sent you a message saying it looks weird. Every time that you change their face, it looks weird on that character model. I haven't seen a single moment where that face looks like it's that person's face. It looks like a deep fake.
Well, it's kind of, I know what you mean. It's because it's just an overlay and it's just following the underlying rigging. Yeah, the announcement did reveal essentially. It didn't say whose companions. It just shows which.
It said
which.
the name of every
Yeah,
companion.
but they're not always don't have to be as a companion. Because for example, Thor, you can do it in the fight with Thor.
You can change the face on the fight with her?
Yeah.
I haven't reached it yet. Okay. Oh, nice.
Yeah. So it basically, that list of characters that are on the blog, the Santa Monica blog and the PlayStation blog. So it's like Kratos, Atreus. Did it mention? It didn't mention Mimir on that then, did it not?
No.
Right. Okay. But it lists what Angerboda.
That's
Thor,
how you pronounce
Freya.
her name. That's I can't pronounce her name.
Try.
No, it won't happen.
Does anybody say it in the game?
Oh, many times, but
Yeah.
like, it's I didn't. Yeah, it's not a word that I can say.
Oh well. But yeah, it lists those, doesn't it? So basically, it seems whenever they are present, then you can do it. I've not found any scenes. I can't think offhand if there's any scenes where more than 2 of those people on that list are present. Because that would be interesting. What happens then?
Can you? Yeah, there is scenes where Truth and Thor are present.
As well as Atreus or Kratos.
Yeah.
So you'd need 3 of them to see what the Photomode does, because there's only 2 face options, isn't there?
Yeah.
So
there's also points in the game where if you visit the house, I think Tyr, and I have to replay the game, but at least Tyr is also. Oh, there is. I got the option to change 3 people at once, but it's a spoiler, so I won't.
Okay.
But it's there.
So it just essentially adds another one.
Yeah.
Right, okay. So I've not tried that yet. So, but obviously, the time we're recording this, it came out yesterday.
Yeah.
So we've not had very long to look at it. Not that it takes very long to look at, because
if you
it's
play
quite
the 2018 game, yeah. That's the other thing. I think I'm not that judgmental about it because I'm so used to the 2018 game by now.
Okay, well, I understand that, and the strange thing is that what could be done in the 2018 one, almost everything that could be done in the 2018 one can still be done now. So if you could take a good picture in God of War, you can still do the good pictures in Ragnarok, and in theory, the content is even better. I would say the actual visual content is improved.
I've been saying that all day on Twitter and on Discord.
Yeah. However, the reason that I do find it disappointing partly is that delay. It's just a sort of.
I still think it's the spoilers, man. I still think they were trying. I think maybe they were trying to hold on spoilers and trying to get a better photo mode, like the best of both worlds, doing the both of those things. But since many of the devs are going on winter break now because of Christmas, because of the holidays, maybe they wanted to get the photo mode by now, so that people will play it on vacations and get the pictures and get that content. Since the community team, I think it's like the week before Christmas until the start of next year, they are not on Twitter at all. So they will still be pumping out content if they have a photo mode.
Yeah. And obviously the original one they did hold back for 3 weeks as well. I still don't believe that it's a motivation is to stop spoilers, because you can just screenshot any cutscene or whatever. It doesn't change it. But obviously the original one, it was like the first time they'd put out a photo mode, so you necessarily weren't expecting it. Now, you're used to that game having it. You assume that it's going to have it straight away. So if it's held for 4 weeks, it was a month, the assumption kind of is that there's going to be something new there. But then, even regardless of that time, what I do find disappointing is that we're used to really seeing photo modes improving the last few years has been lots of incremental updates, things, big new features or just general refinement. And to see something come out with what is, a 4+ year old photo mode and be delayed,
and at some points be worst. The autofocus is gone.
Okay, so
the UI covers half of the screen.
I hate the UI.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but I always think every single photo mode should let you change the controls when the UI is hidden, just for the sake of clarity of view. But it went from a little box in the bottom right-hand corner, which was kind of standard, just put like Horizon, tons of photo mods do. Just put a little box down there, tabbed, whatever. They've put it up to the side, top left corner, and got rid of the box. So that was maybe a start. Like Ghost of Tsushima kind of does that approach, and it's just.
I think they looked at a bunch of like photo modes, and they wanted to do something. But I genuinely think that they wanted to do something better, but they just ran out of time.
I don't know, but it's now bigger. The UI is bigger, despite having exactly the same content on it. But it's like they got rid of the box. I mean, it's quite hard to see on a white background, so we'll put a big black vignette over 50% of the screen. It's a nightmare just for focusing the camera.
Do you think it's to add more features and have space for those features?
At this point, I'm not sure I do. No, it would be nice. Absolutely, it would be nice. But even the features that are there are identical to the previous one. And, well, the features that are there, because like we said, not all of them are there. So you've lost the focus lock-on. So that was... I didn't rely on it, but it was useful as you're moving around a character. Not that you can move very far. How tiny the camera range is.
It was a free camera, but inside like a square kind of thing.
Well, it's a sphere, isn't it? But that's fairly standard. It's the size of the bounding sphere and I think it was. It feels even smaller than it did in 2018. But
it does. Yeah.
That might just because we're used to more range on other games anyway. But yeah, first thing I tried was, okay, we already kind of had this indication that the features weren't going to change from the leak. What I do want to know is how far can the camera go? And I went back and went, whoa. I was like surprised to see how short it really was. And the fact that even on the sleigh with the wolves, you can't even get as far as the front of the sled. You can't see the wolves at all. It's almost on the point of being unacceptable. It's so short.
I've seen a lot, and I mean a lot of people commenting on this online from around the community. And I get that. I get the disappointment. I don't think that we can complain that we can complain. Of course we can complain. It's a subpar photo mode. But I don't think we can complain when games like Resident Evil, like Final Fantasy versus Final Fantasy VII Integrate, whatever came out. Like, those are bad photo modes. Mm-hmm. This isn't a bad photo mode. It's a disappointing photo mode because we are used to better treatment from Sony Studios.
That's right.
I think if it was any other publisher, I won't say studio, but any other publisher, like, for instance, Remedy, bringing the same photo mode to Alan Wake 2, we wouldn't have this kind of, like, quote-unquote backlash.
I think you might in Control. Like, the Control photo mode was really simple as well and quite lacking. And if that came out again for Control 2, I think you might get a similar response of people going, what? The same problems? Because that's the trouble with the Ragnarok one, is that it's not just yes, it would be nice. People want to see 3-point lighting, stuff like that. Quite obviously requires a lot of input, of time, of actual development. To just extend the camera range, what's the first thing that will happen when it comes out on PC? The next day, there's a free camera mod, and the range gets lifted.
Yeah.
Why can't you just change the range? Like,
I can tell you a story. I actually sent one picture of what can be done with the free camera range by a DM to a developer back when it came out on PC, just to see, like, to ask for that. And the feedback was heard. We know the feedback was heard. That's why I think it was a time constraint.
Not to change the camera range. Even Horizon did it straight after launch. They did it. It was 5 meters, and they went, "Okay, sorry, we've heard you. We've increased it to 10 meters."
Oh, that might happen.
It might. Yeah. We don't know.
I honestly believe that we will see improvements to this Photomode.
I really hope so. And like you said, it is the expectation is the sort of the foundation for the disappointment, is that you were very much expecting big new things. If it was a completely new game from someone else and it came out with that exact photo, you'd be like, yeah, it's all right. The camera range is a little bit limiting, a lot limiting, but the rest of it is fairly functional. I don't know. It's just
Isn't
tough.
the photo mode on Forbidden West the same then?
Yeah, which is why I downgraded its review score. So the Zero Dawn at the time, I gave as an essential, because if you came into virtual photography at that time, that was like the perfect starting point. So I considered that the essential photo mode. For Forbidden West to come out in the period it did, when other photo modes have surpassed that, it's no longer essential. It's recommended because of the content, but as a photo mode itself, it's down a step. So it's not come down. My rankings are like essential, recommended, limited, novel, and avoid, which has only ever been one, which is Resident Evil. Avoid. So Ragnarok's going to be the same. It's going to have to take a downgrade. I think it's still as an opportunity, as the photo opportunity, you've got to recommend it, because the game itself is amazing. It's if Gran Turismo 7 wasn't out, Ragnarok would be my game of the year, I think. I absolutely love it. The characters, how good are the Aesir? I mean, I cannot believe how good Odin is. Unbelievable. And for just the content alone,
I still think Sindri should have been nominated for Performance of the Year.
Yeah.
Yes, Sindri is like the standout character for me.
There's quite a lot. I mean, I love Thor, and like I said, Odin is so kind of. I didn't know what to expect for Odin. I was like, it could have easily just been this big bad boss again, but it was kind of like nice, and it just made him all the more sinister. It's so good. So yeah, the game still makes the photo mode relevant. That's the thing. What you could do on 2018, you can still do now. Apart from quickly get into it, because there's no shortcut button. How do you feel about that? It's still only technically one button, but that touchpad is...
It's not. You can't map it.
No. I mean, to freeze it is what I'm getting at. So it's you press the options button, so you can still time it just the same, but it doesn't... It just feels bad to have to go through the menu.
I can't tell you how many times, because I'm playing Miles Morales, and how many times during combat I press the shortcut.
Yeah.
And the thing is, there is button mapping.
There is.
And there is quite a lot of shortcuts that you can add to the swipes. But not the photo mode.
No, it's not there. That was so when I did the update, the first thing I did was go into the settings to see what photo mode options were there, and to see whether there was a shortcut to turn on. I was like, can't find one. Sure
I actually had my suspicions that it wasn't there, because in every post it said pause and press square. They didn't mention like the shortcut at all, so I had my suspicions. And when I got there, and yeah, I think the blow might have been softened by the initial post. Like reading through the posts might have been like, it set my expectations low.
Well, of course, because it told you what was there. And, I mean, I just get the feeling that as much as Santa Monica are actually really excellent at supporting their virtual photography community, I don't think they've got the photography interest. Is that fair? The one thing that makes me think it is that they've added titles to the tabs, and the second tab is called shutter. There is nothing to do with the shutter on that tab. It's got
I
depth
don't think
of field.
they have a photographer on the team.
Exactly. So that tab should be called aperture, because it's got focus and it's got f-stop, and then whether you've got depth of field on or off. So it's either lens or aperture. Well, the aperture is in the lens anyway. The shutter is in the camera. It's what opens and closes to let the light reach the sensor. It's nothing to do with depth of field. All right, it's trivial, but it annoys me because it's wrong.
Oh, I know what you mean. Yeah, and it's not trivial at all, because to explain that to the general audience, if you want to like explain the photo mode to the general audience, you would be using wrong terms.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
And it makes it super hard to do. It's a hard photo mode to recommend, but you can recommend the game. Like I've been saying, like the photo mode is basically the same, and all the improvements that you will make are thanks to the better VFX, the better character models, the new visuals. That's what will make your shots better, not the photo mode itself. At some point, it will make it worse because of the UI. Like that UI.
Yeah.
And if you notice on my shots, and I've been seeing this all day, most people place their main subject on the right.
In the clear
because
part. The UI thing will annoy me forever on every game that doesn't let you control the settings while it's hidden, because I don't understand that, and it's something that isn't even new. You know, the precedence was set really early on. I think Bound did that in like 2017.
Forbidden West does that,
Zero Dawn, I think.
Zero Dawn, Zero Dawn, sure. They kind of blend together now. The photo mode is the same, so they kind of blend together now.
Well, the Forbidden West photo mode was very similar, but there are improvements. Yeah. So I think that one of the most novel things in there is the time lapse. And that was because it was something that I used previously, and I used to like try and press all the buttons at once to try and move the time of day while also panning the camera around and record it as a video. Well, now you just set the time lapse going and it does it itself, and then you can move the camera easily. So I think that's a really great new addition. But yeah, like that it just shows thought into what people want to use it for, and that's what's kind of bugging me with the Ragnarok one. All right, development schedules aside, I totally accept that not everything can be done. The games are massive, but it is a 5-year cycle. I think they've spent 5 years making this game. 4 yeah. And for what you don't want, I don't want to be true, but what you kind of start to get the feel of is that, you know, people used to say photo mode was an afterthought. I thought we were well past that, and photo modes were definitely not an afterthought. But this one seems to be not so much an afterthought, but bottom of the pile, last in the queue.
Yeah, but I think it's fair. Even with all I'm sorry, I even with all the high numbers that we get on social media, even with us seeing people sharing content from this game and other games, we are a very small community. When you compare it to fan art, when you compare it to cosplay, we are a fairly small community right now. And it's
compared
growing.
to cosplay. You think there's more cosplayers than there are virtual photographers?
Oh, there are definitely more
No way.
cosplayers than virtual photographers. Like, I'm absolutely sure that there are more cosplayers than virtual photographers.
I don't know about
Like,
that.
I would bet all the money in my pocket versus all the money in your pocket.
Well, that's easy because
Like-
my pockets are empty.
Mine too. But yeah, there are definitely more cosplayers.
How do we find out? We need to do a poll. It might be biased because our audience of 4 people will all be virtual photographers, and that's
Yeah.
that. So leave a comment and let us know if you are a virtual photographer or a cosplayer, and then that's definitive proof.
Maybe by hashtag, but people that do cosplay don't use the hashtag cosplay. They
I'm not
Okay.
sure about that. Yeah,
I'm sure about that.
it's maybe more longer established. I'll accept that.
The thing that you have to realize about cosplay is that you don't need that much to do the cosplay of a character. Like, and from that you can do there are 100% more, at least more professional cosplayers than professional virtual photographers. Like, okay,
But that's not what you're getting at. You're
I-
on about the
okay,
number
even
of
the
people.
community.
Yeah.
I work at Patreon, like you know, and the amount of creators that are cosplayers, it's insane. It's completely insane. And I deal with Twitter, the Twitter support of Patreon, and the amount of people that are having a problem with cosplayers, like they can't log in or something like that to that platform. It's insane. The number of cosplayers is actually, yeah. You just have to look at Comic-Con. Like, Comic-Con it's a sea of cosplayers.
Yeah, but that okay, fine. But I still think on if you were to just take the weight of people on, because that's really niche. Cosplay is a really, you say it's easy to get into. It's a lot easier to pick up a photo mode.
Oh yeah, but the
So-
interest is it's a lot smaller, I think. And I think I think based on that photo modes are still an afterthought. There are devs that don't know that photo mode is even a thing. Maybe not like AAA devs, but like
Well, there's some
smaller scale devs. It's a growing market for sure. We have Shauna to thank about doing a presentation very recently about virtual photography to Ubisoft, and yeah, I don't think it's as big as we think. We are inside the bubble, so it feels massive.
I've always been aware of that, and I've actually always had the vision way beyond the bubble, to be honest. And yeah, I totally accept the growing part of it. I'm not sure that it's so unknown to studios. You know, there's a lot of indie games with photo modes.
It's
And
starting to happen,
there's even things like Unity. So the engine, Unity has got a photo mode plugin. You're starting to see quite a few games that are built around cameras. So things like Toem, ISO.
But ISO. I can give you the example. It's definitely growing, and the growth has been accelerated after the pandemic. But it's not quite as big as other like communities inside gaming. Like I've seen people comparing virtual photography with streaming, and no, the streaming community is massive. It's huge. It's like anyone can do it if they have an internet connection. You don't even need a webcam at this point.
Yeah, but the anyone can do it is actually even easier for you to share Photomode shots. The difference
I know, but
is
not
that
everyone does.
the difference, I think, is just that there isn't a dedicated platform. Streaming is really facilitated by YouTube and Twitch.
Yeah.
And even if you just
Do you
say,
think we need an app for virtual
God.
photography?
Yeah. So, episode 4, I think it was, we said why we don't need those apps. So, if you find an app that makes the platform big enough for virtual photography, then you would maybe recommend it. It's still not.
No.
No,
I won't recommend you a restaurant. I won't recommend you anything.
That's non-committal, but fair enough. Stay safe by never recommending anything. I didn't tell you to.
You can't be disappointed with a recommendation from me if I never give you a recommendation.
That's true. Yep. But anyway, that aside, I just think that the studios understand the communities that are there, and you can't just start to say, yeah, you're not big enough yet. I don't think that.
I'm not saying they should, but like developing a game, it's a massive undertaking. And at some point you have to decide this takes priority over this. And clearly on the case of God of Ragnarök, they prioritize accessibility. They went with it. UI was something that on the 2018 game was very criticized, and not so much on Ragnarök. They prioritize those kind of things. And from the little that I know, those teams are usually the teams that are on the Photomode developing team. And after the game launch, I have my doubts about this, but I think the Photomode only started to get worked on after the game went gold.
Possible. Well, certainly it was unfinished in the version that released. So you saw obviously the leaked version of it. And you could tell that was out of date, one, because half of the features didn't work, and even the logo was the old one with the red omega. So that was clearly an old version. So yeah, you might be right that the time has actually just been used to make the Photomode work again. But I just find it surprising that with so much of it being the same, how much work's the wrong thing, but how much additional changes were needed to make it function again. I just think it's so similar that most of those features would have carried straight across. I'm just surprised.
Oh,
look,
yeah.
The size of the team.
Surprised is probably a good word for this.
Yeah. You said you maybe weren't disappointed because you expected it. I think I'm still disappointed even if I did or didn't expect it. I partly did, but was optimistic. But they're a big studio. You look at what Ember Lab have done, and this is a team of like 12 people. And all right, this is maybe this is the thing. So I'm just said that Santa Monica might not have that photography enthusiasm. Ember Lab are a cinematic studio. They're a team of animators to start with, and they've got people who are obviously really into photography and cinematography. But they put a Photomode in. All right, the game's nowhere near as big. But like for them to put that Photomode in there with such novel features, and then to bring version 2 with all the studio lighting effects and everything like that. If you take percentage time out of the workforce, let's say they put one person on that, 1 out of 12 is a lot larger percentage than the team at Santa Monica out of several hundred employees.
I think he told us this on No Snap when we had our episode together about what makes a good photo mode. But Shinobi actually talked about how I can't remember the studio, how some studios just look at what the industry is making and try to copy it instead of like asking for feedback or searching for the photographer on the team to help. They just try to replicate what is being done. I think you're correct. They are clearly missing someone that understands photography. Maybe you can apply. Because I can't. I don't understand anything about photography. But I think that they are missing that person. And they look at the previous photo mode and thought, well,
Yeah, it worked last time, so
good enough.
Yeah.
Let's go.
To some extent that stands to reason. You know, if it's not broke, don't fix it type thing. But you also took out so the missing features are the shortcut and the autofocus thing. So the autofocus was just useful for keeping track of the character when you moved around. Everything else I think is exactly the same, isn't it? So that was all they.
In terms of like things that were taken out, yes, there are some additions. The face expression, you can control the filters better.
Okay. So I have two thoughts on that.
Go ahead.
All right. So the additions there were vibrance and saturation, perfectly valid. But to add them specific to each filter and to not work without a filter, I was kind of dumbfounded by that. I was like, wait, hold on. So I have to activate a filter which makes it a random color that I don't want to be able to use the new features. And then my next thought was, it's okay though, because I'll put the filter intensity down to 0 and then just use the saturation myself. That doesn't work because that negates them because they go to 0 because of it. It's overridden. Why? Why not just add it as a proper feature?
Some filters, like Atreus and Kratos, work differently.
I wonder if that's just because of the two. Like, say you switch to Atreus one, which is obviously featured the blues, like a blue only type thing, wasn't it? Because of the saturation, I think if you tweak the vibrance and the saturation, you can kind of match what it used to do. But I don't use filters at 100% ever, because it always looks the same. I use it to tweak the tone, and I like, so on this one, your best bet, the second to last one, I think there's one called Pastel actually. That's quite a nice one. I do like that, the tones on that. But otherwise, it's like go to black and white, and then use black and white to control saturation, and that's about the most useful one, because otherwise they all end up looking too stylized and not the same. So I prefer the way they work.
I always, the black and white one is the go-to, and to change the. But I like the vibrant one, which now you can just.
You can go crazy control with it. So I never used to use the vibrant one because it was oversaturated. And so the difference between vibrance and saturation in, say, Lightroom, if you put vibrance up, it brings out strong colours without too much effect on skin tones. Because obviously if you put your saturation right up, then skin goes crazy colours. But your vibrance, you can bring out strong colours, bright blues and reds and things, but keep fairly natural skin tones. And your saturation is really more of an overall every colour up. So actually now with those, you can get a nice balance on that vibrant filter. Yeah. But yeah, it just bugs me. The other part then, like I said, is that if you set it to whatever and then you change filter and back again, they've reset. please, just a lot of it comes across as whoever made it didn't use it. And I always think that is a recipe for frustrating design. Same with the big half the UI covering the screen. If you used it, you go, no, this is annoying. Change that. And I just think it hasn't been used.
Or maybe they used it, but since they aren't a photographer a virtual photographer,
testing it is different to using it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I agree with you. That part, I definitely agree with you. I also think it moves slower.
So slow. Do you mean the menu selection? The actual?
Yeah.
Oh my god. Doesn't it?
Yeah.
I actually tested this because I was like, with the logo. So there's 9 positions for the logo. And you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, but you can't go back round. So to turn it off, you've got to go all the way back again.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this takes so long. So I tried seeing how many times I could press the button before it got back to 0. And I pressed it 28 times for it to move 9 spaces.
It's the same with the face expressions, by the way. Yeah.
What's your theory on that?
I have no idea. I think it was rushed.
I have one.
Oh, go ahead.
If you feel, this is on the PS5 at least, so I guess if on the PS4 this is irrelevant, but on the PS5 there's a bit of a haptic pulse each time you change it, and it won't move on until the haptic feedback is ended.
So, do you think that if we turn haptics off?
I don't know. Try it.
Yeah, I will try it. Another thing that I actually tried, and Mila, the UX, I want to say her correct. The lead UX designer actually tweeted at me with this advice, was to use the high contrast in the accessibility options. So you can have like black backgrounds, white backgrounds, and whatever. The backgrounds won't go full white or full black, but it's easier to get those kinds of shots that I'm very much a fan of. So yeah, I use that for
the easy ones.
Yeah, sorry.
No,
I like them. I'm sorry. It's just the minimalistic in me, I think.
Yeah, I get it. And that is a good tip. I always think accessibility options are really useful for everybody.
Yeah.
And I like exploring them for things like that. I've not tested them actually, whether they work in like, say, the coloured, because you can get sort of like in The Last of Us, you could have the coloured enemies and everything, and it's just a bit of a weird.
That's how I solved the last puzzle that I was missing before the guides came out.
All right.
I was missing one Raven and one Normir chest, and I knew both of those were in the second area of Alfheim in the desert, and I was like freaking out, like trying to find that. It was days of me just roaming the desert, and I'm not kidding. It was days, like 4 hours straight, like just going around the desert. Okay, let's defeat an enemy, come back, roaming around the desert, until I decided, okay, let's go to the accessibility options and see if there is like a quick puzzle solving, and there is a high contrast for things that you can interact with.
Yeah.
So I put that in red and went around the desert one more time and saw a pile of rocks that it's so frustrated placed below a thing that you, as soon as you get close to it, you press circle and you go up. You would never look at those piles of rocks, but if you eat them, they fall off, and there is like a secret chamber where the Raven is flying around the Normir chest, like mocking me. Yeah.
Here it is.
Yeah.
Oh, which reminds me.
No, fuck
Here
off.
it is. I had it on standby ready. I thought you might ask why it wasn't in the background this time.
Oh, I knew it was because of this.
So I thought I'd do my best Uncle Buck. Not to kill, just to maim.
Oh, I hate you so much at this moment.
You haven't felt the weight of it,
No.
have you? It doesn't light up, no. It does weigh just under 1,100 grams. So it's more than a kilo. It feels quite light from this end. Because it's weighted
It
here.
would be cool if it had like a button and it would light up.
Yeah, it's not a lightsaber.
No, but like
I know
the
what you mean.
runes turn blue or...
So, there's so much detail in there that you, you could have easily had some elements going on. But yeah. Is it bigger than you expected? I am blocking myself.
I actually already saw one at... I didn't hold it, but I saw one at Lisbon Games Week.
Mm.
But it is bigger than what I was expecting, for sure.
Yeah.
Even the video with the actor that plays Thor,
and
I'm
Raph.
forgetting, and Raph, it didn't show the size of it. It's a magnificent piece. It's one that I regret not getting.
Well, you can always have a look at mine. I also like that the strapping is real strapping. That's not just plastic molding.
It's real.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
not plastic. Whoa,
No, it's
that's
actually
cool.
properly wrapped. So yeah.
I would also like to see, and I know that one that you have the collector's edition, not the yacht now.
Yeah.
I would like to see the pins, the bear, the wolf, and the falcon.
Yeah, they are.
I would
nice.
like to see those because those are from photos. They are quite big. They are not like small
they're
pins.
really
They are.
big, yeah.
I would like to see that one.
Yeah.
No, I would like to have like a full collection of God of War things, but it's
You spend some money.
yeah, just spend money.
That's how we get them.
I actually have. You only have those 3 Funko Pops, right? The Troll, Kratos, and
Yeah.
I have the Draugr
Oh,
one.
I want that. But they stopped selling them. I don't collect Funkos like you, and I certainly don't keep them in the box because then you can't see them properly. But I've got those, and I've got Aloy, and I've got an Alien and a Predator.
I want the Aloy, but they haven't released for Forbidden West for some reason.
No, I don't know. They might do. But yeah, I'd like a Draugr.
I want the we actually talked about this. The Broken Sindri.
Yes, they
Yeah. I want those so freaking much, but I can never seem to find them with a good price.
Didn't we give some away on one of the contests?
Yeah. Why did we? Yeah, you shouldn't have given them away.
The stuff that I've given away on these contests, the one that's still most jealous of was the Wipeout contest, because that was an original press kit with the vinyl record of the soundtrack, signed by the team like from across generations of Wipeout, and it was Sony XDev that arranged all of that. The jacket as well, the Pfizer jacket, and I was like, oh my god, I'm super jealous of these. But no,
you shouldn't.
I can't win them myself, otherwise I'd be.
You should enter your own contest, though, under a new name.
Well,
the Fifth Focus.
No one would see that.
No one would expect that thing.
Focus the Fourth. Yeah.
But I think the Photomode is pretty disappointed, and we had a crazy busy week, both of us.
Yeah. The coming week is going to be crazier. So my God of War review is going to have to wait because I just don't have time.
Just copy and paste whatever you...
That's true. That would be remiss of me. It's just going to have to wait. The coming week, I'm really looking forward to, but it's at such a bad time. I don't need it but yet I can't miss it.
But yeah, I will make sure to Photoshop myself in every.
Oh, I'm looking forward to that. Yeah. No matter
I
how
just
bad
have
it looks.
to get a good app that removes the background, and I'm sure I'm going to do it.
Okay. Excellent. So yeah.
Okay, is that it?
And that is it. We've maybe criticised it quite a bit. I think fairly.
Yeah.
But as a game, I still love Ragnarok.
I think we were asking for too much, though.
Oh, I don't think...
Not the free range, the other stuff that people are been complaining, like the tree lights, the whatever. Like pausing on cutscenes. No PlayStation game does that, so that is crazy
interestingly,
expectation.
I tested out on the cutscenes, and certain ones doesn't let you enter the photo mode at all. So I'm guessing they're pre-rendered, and on others, you can enter it, but obviously can't move the camera. So I'm guessing some are real time, some pre-rendered. I don't actually know. That was just a speculative guess. But yeah, those big things. That's not what I was realistically hoping for. But I just hoped for to be up to date. That's the thing, and to be aware of what is useful and of the camera range.
Agree with you. I agree with you. I agree with every single point of criticism that you gave on this episode. So I will steal it and go on social media and say those are my ideas.
Oh, well, nothing new there.
Okay, let's wrap this up before I get burned again. This has been this week's episode. Thank you for watching. If you stayed until now, please like and subscribe, comment. We haven't made one of these like plugins for people to like and subscribe during this episode, so we are very bad YouTubers, podcasters, because we are also available on Spotify and your favorite podcast app. For now, I will shut up. Bye.